Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Brandon and I'm brand new to photography. I've always had an interest in it, and even as far back as when I got my first smartphone with a camera. I don't think it's a smartphone, my first phone with a camera. I enjoyed playing with it and getting some pictures and just enjoyed it. And I didn't realize the jump in quality when you actually got a camera. I mean, I did back then because those phones were not producing good pictures. But it was fun to have something to capture pictures with. But as we moved up into the smartphone world, and as far as a couple years ago, I had iPhones, and Samsung Galaxy is usually what I get. I swapped to iPhones for a few years and then jumped back to Samsung Galaxy, and I pretty much stuck with it. And they got pretty good cameras for what they are. But I didn't realize the jump in quality to when you upgrade to a real camera and what it offered you. And I remember trying to print out a couple of photos that I took with my phone, and they came out looking so much worse in the prints than they did on the phone. And a little bit of research led to that's why. So I decided to make the leap, get a camera. The first camera I got was a Panasonic Lumix G100, which it also isn't a great camera according to a lot of people, but I've had a lot of fun with it. I'm actually shooting this video on it right now. I did film a welcome video that I was going to post to my channel as my welcome video. I'll be reshooting that eventually. Probably entirely different by the time I get around to it. But I thought it was a pretty horrible video. I actually shot that on my phone, and the video quality actually wasn't bad, but the audio was horrible. The audio still isn't going to be great in this one because I'm using the built-in mic on the G100. But I feel like it'll be a lot better. So I decided to make this channel to kind of vlog my experience. I figured it'd be fun to look back in the future whenever I once I got it figured out. But when I get a lot more figured out and I'm a better photographer than I am right now, it'll be fun to be able to look back and see my progress. I also thought it might be fun for a lot of you to follow along and wherever you join me at, but see me from that point on, and then maybe even go back and see some of the earlier stuff like this. And hopefully I've grown and I'm putting out a lot better content at that point. But either way, it'd be fun to be able to go back and see where I came from. And so that welcome video I made, I wasn't even going to post it. I watched it one time and heard the audio and wasn't really pleased with the audio or the way I was talking. I had kind of wrote a script for that one, and I tried to stick to it as best I could. So I had a lot of pausing, and a lot more pausing than normal, trying to remember it and get things right, and it sounded awkward on top of the audio being bad. But like I said in that video, I want to share the good, the bad, and the probably ugly. And I think it definitely falls in the bad and the ugly category. But I think it'll be fun to be able to go back and see, and it's a little comfortable for me to know that it was such a bad video that it would be hard to put out anything worse than that, or as embarrassing as that. I'm not going to say it can't happen, because it probably will. This one might be just as bad. But that's kind of going to be, what my channel's about. I want to share my struggles through things, like when I don't have equipment. Like right now, I don't really have a good place to record. I don't have a good mic to set up on my phone or a camera. I do plan to get one. I do have a decent mic that goes to my computer that is actually in storage right now because I haven't played online and I don't know how long. But I had it mostly for just conversing with my friends on Discord and playing video games and stuff like that. But, with 2 teenage stepchildren and 1 10-year-old stepdaughter and a brand new 7-month-old, not really a whole lot of time to game, not really a whole lot of time to do a whole lot of anything. I also work a full-time job, and I don't plan on my photography ever getting to a point to replace my job. I'm hoping to get it to a point to where I can supplement my income a little bit. I've never done a paid gig yet. I do have a family shoot coming up this weekend, or possibly early next week. They're supposed to get back with me on the time. It's just some friends. They're letting me practice and, get some shots for a portfolio. I will obviously do a video on that. I've also got some pictures that I've already taken of some things that I plan to do videos on. Just tell a little bit of the story behind them and show the images, which I'll probably show a few in this video, and I showed a few in the other video. But that's pretty much going to be my channel. I'll obviously also be doing some vlogging with my family and whatnot. That'll be something that we can come back and look on in the future and just see when we were younger and when my children were younger, and the fun times we had. It'll be fun for their children to see. So if the channel never takes off or gets a lot of subscribers, I still think it'd be worth the time putting into it, just to have that memorabilia and also have my little journey that I can look back on and see the growth and see where I came from. And hopefully by then, like I said, I've improved a lot. Hopefully I'll still be doing videos at that point. But like I say about the job, I'm not going to get rich at my job. I do live pretty comfortably. Not, upper level comfortable, but comfortable enough for me and my family. And I have benefits and the retirement that I'm 15 years into. So for me to give that up for photography, it has to really be taken off, you know what I mean? And I don't see it getting to that point anytime soon. If it ever did, I might would revisit that idea, but like I said, it has to be doing really well. So that's not my point. My point in photography is it's merely a hobby of mine. I enjoy wildlife more than anything. Obviously, I don't have the best gear for wildlife right now. I got two cameras. I got the Lumix G100, which is what I've done most of my wildlife photography on, and I got a Sony A7 IV. Both of them have the kit lenses, and my Panasonic, I have an old Lumix, or I don't remember if it's Lumix. Might just be Panasonic. Either way, it's a Vario, G Vario, I think. 45 to 200, which on a Micro Four Thirds, equates to a 90 to a 400 or something like that. So that gives me pretty good reach, and I get some bird photos and stuff. But the problem with that lens is it's just got a horrible autofocus on it. I usually run it in manual focus for most things because it's easier for me to find focus manually than it is for me to let the autofocus try to find it. Because it just searches and searches and searches, and it sometimes find it and it sometimes don't. And I'll probably do a review on that lens at some point, which be something else I will do on my channel is as I get more gear and I get familiar with it, I'll do some reviews on it, and I'll do some reviews on the stuff I have as my channel grows and I get the time to do it and I get a little more experience. I just want to touch base and let everybody know what the channel would be about. If it seems like something you'd be interested in, hit that like button, subscribe. I'd love to have you along with me. I think it'll be a fun journey. I think it could be entertaining for some. Hopefully informative to others, especially in the future. As I learn things, I'll obviously share it with the channel. I plan to create a community at some point, so we can get on there and do some things and talk and give some advice, showcase my work and everybody else's work that they want to showcase on there. Might even start running a competition at some point where everybody submits a photo and I can put it on the, pick like a top 5 or a top 3, put it on a video, and maybe at some point have some prizes. We gotta see where the channel goes, how many people I get, and how many of those people would be interested in something like that. But yeah, I think that could be fun too. And I just want to be the best photographer I can be. And even if I never make it a full-time thing, when I do retire, hopefully I'm to a point in my photography to where I can supplement my income or supplement my retirement that way. as well as hopefully before I get there I can supplement my income now with it, and at least try to pay for the hobby with the hobby, if that makes sense. Another reason I started the channel was because I was watching another YouTuber slash photographer. I don't remember his name, but he had said the one thing he regrets not doing is starting his YouTube channel sooner, because he wanted to wait until he had the photography stuff figured out. And at that point he started his YouTube, but he had to learn YouTube and, you know, get comfortable talking to a mic, because it's a little weird just talking to a camera, and you know, you kind of feel like an idiot, at least I do. And he kind of mentioned the same thing, but he had also talked about how it made him a better photographer because it uses a lot of the same things like composition, exposure, aperture, shutter speed, even though the shutter speed is apparently different for video than it is for videography, which I'm sure I'll learn some of that in the future, because I don't plan on just making YouTube videos. I do want to play around with the video function and, you know, make some pretty cool videos, which when that time comes I will also post to the channel for y'all to see and critique and give me some advice. And I thought it'd be fun to kind of create a channel and learn some more about the video side of things, because I am interested in it. Like I said, I would like to make some pretty cool things with video as well. So that's pretty much it. Like I said, just vlogging my life and my experience and my journey into this world, and hoping to build a strong community someday. And if that seems like it'd be interesting to you, hit that like button and subscribe, and let's go shoot something.